Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Canada CPA Online Academy, sharing the wisdom. If you are new here, please make sure to like and subscribe the channel and click the bell icon to get the regular updates. I share CFE preparation tips videos every week, so I'll help you with your CFE journey. So what are we discussing today? Just one note before we start. If you are not seeing the presentation clearly, please adjust your display settings to 1080p so that the viewing is clear. Okay, so what we are discussing today are the top 5 mistakes that students go in Capstone 2. Now remember, Capstone 2 is a very important part of your CFE preparation, so don't take it lightly, take it very seriously. It will help you to clear your CFE. Now the very first mistake that we are going to discuss today is going over the time limit. Now everywhere you see, every mentor, everyone that has gone through the CFE will tell you this: time is your enemy. Keep that in mind. Time is your enemy. You may know something, but you don't have sufficient time to write. Now, in Capstone 2, you are writing the cases, you are practicing for CFE, but don't go over the time limit. So if you're solving a day 2, day 3 case and the time limit given is 70 minutes, then time it out, start your timer, write that case in 70 minutes as if you are writing it in the exam scenario. Now, why this is important? Students feel that when we are not ready and we are writing the Capstone 2, we feel like, okay, I'll just go over 10 minutes to I'll just finish this part of the case, I will just finish writing. But I know it is very tempting, but it will not benefit you in the end, because if you don't practice it from the start, you are never going to reach there on the CFE. Like, you can't do that time management on the CFE day. That it is something that you have to do during your practice in the Capstone 2. So don't go over your time limit. So day 1, day 2, day 3, whatever the time limit given for that case, solve that case within that limit. Now initially it might happen that you are not able to finish all the AOs, but that's okay. Submit it as it is and get the feedback at which level you are. So if you don't finish 2 AOs, whatever you have written, how well you have written, at least have you written the AOs that you have written correctly or not. So it would be a true feedback. It won't be a misguided feedback where you have extra, in exam scenario you don't have an extra 5 seconds. So it is very important to practice that within that time limit. So do not waste this chance by submitting the cases just to check off the submission. Okay, this is also very important. I know you will be working, you will be busy with your office, other stuff. If you have kids, family, then with your life. So Capstone 2 doesn't require you to pass the cases at a certain level. So sometimes it is very common for people to, okay, I'll just write something and submit this off, and I'll solve this later whenever I have time. That time never comes. You never have the time to finish or rewrite the case again. So whatever your schedule is, please adjust that. Carve out that time for case writing and submit the cases to the best possible effort. That is what I'm saying. Do not copy from the board report answers. It is not going to help you. Write whatever you know, whatever to best of your abilities, and get the feedback and work on it. So you have to plan your work week and the study time. Like Capstone 2 will give you the schedule of cases to be submitted every week. So work your way in the time schedules to plan when you are going to write. I would suggest write it first thing in the morning when your brain is fresh, you are ready to go. After a hectic work day, writing a case in the evening for even for 1 hour, 1.5 hours for a day 3, it's tiring, taxing. So plan your day like that. Second mistake about day one cases. Now remember, day one is a little bit tricky because if whether you are an MOU student directly giving Capstone 2 or you are a regular student coming from Capstone 1, it's just one big case, and then um, Capstone 2 will give you, I think, two versions of to write. So two practice day one cases, and there is nothing else that you can practice. You can't go for previous year's cases because the base case is different. So there is very limited versions available to practice day one. So make the best use of Cap 2 for day one cases. So how to do that is prepare ahead. So whenever you are in Capstone 2 and writing your first day one version, you should be ready with your approach. So how to get that thing carved out is, again, time management. Carve out 4 hours on a Saturday to write day one case in exam situation. Then study previous year's day one cases to get the feel and expectation. Like, I was lost. Like, how do you write it? Like, there is so much information and so much, like, you have to do situation analysis, then there's pros and cons, then conclusions, and everywhere you have to tie it up. And it was not clear in my head while I was writing the version one. So it was like lost. So what I did after that is I went through the previous year's day one case. So I read the Capstone 1 case. Then from that, I read the version 1, 2 that was in exam. I read the answers, and that gave me a little bit clarity how to approach a day one case. And then I attempted. But then after that, now once I felt that, okay, I now I know I want to practice one more this type of case, but there is nothing, like, there is who will design that case. There is no option to write one more version. So before you start Capstone 2, be ready with your approach. Like, go through the previous year's day one case. I'm not telling you to solve previous year's day one case. I'm just saying, just give it a quick read as if you're writing a storybook. Okay, what was the Cap 1 case? What was the next version? What happened? How they're analyzing? What are they writing? It has a very specific format. In a different video, I'll discuss the day one format. But before coming to Capstone 2, what I'm saying is, get the feel and expectation that what is required for day one writing, and then attempt that version. It would be beneficial for you for getting the most valuable feedback on a true attempt. As I said, there will be only 2 versions available to practice, so use it wisely. Now the third mistake is next day 2 cases. Again, for day 2, it's also a big case, lot of AOs. Now there you will have your elective and FR and FN and or MA. So you have to balance your time between the two sides. When you are not ready, then again day 2 also there are only 2 or 3 cases that CPA will mark in the Capstone 2. So again, very less practice. It is very tiresome to write a day 2 case because it's a 5-hour case. So what I have seen students do is, like, sometimes they will do in parts, like, I solved 3 hours today, then the 2 hours, or I read 1 hour today, then 2 hours I wrote FR, and then the next 3 hours whatever in the combination. I would suggest don't do that. Carve out 5 hours in one slot on a Saturday. Write it like in an exam situation, because your brain gets exhausted after a couple of hours, and then you have to fight that feeling. Because if you solve it in parts, even if you are doing it total 5 hours, but your brain is refreshed, every time you write that case. Or like, when you, if suppose you write 2 hours today and then you are writing 2 hours tomorrow, then you get that in between time to think on the case. So the cases are like, if you have unlimited time, then you will do very well because it's not that tricky. But in that in that block of 5 hours to read the case, to understand the business model, to write details about the electives, to write the FR, to incorporate the FR adjustments on your, say if your assurance elective into your assurance materiality. So all this time back within that 5 hours is it needs practice. So do it in exam situation. Be ready with your attack strategy approach so that you get the best benefit from the Capstone 2. Again, as I mentioned, only limited number of cases are available to practice, so use it wisely. Because if say how if you have available last 5 to 6 years of CFE cases for day 2 available, so it gives you 6 cases to practice, which is very less. Then very important on day 2, like FR is very time consuming. Being accountants, we are so much used to like balance it out and complete the journal entry and the adjustments and everything, that we waste so much time on the FR or MA side that you fall short on your elective AOs. So learn to balance that time from the beginning. Allot your time for the AO, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Once you hit that 15 minutes, just move on to next AO. Next mistake 4. Now day 3 cases. Now day 3, day 1, 2, I'm saying time challenging. Day 3, like institute CPA says that day 3 is challenging. So imagine the time pressure that it has for day 3 cases. So day 3 cases, you need to change the focus of your writing style. So the focus should be speed and accurately. So how fast you can write and how accurate you can write. So it's not about the length, it's about accuracy and in speed if you can write it accurately. Now focus on learning how to balance between quant and call. It is very important on day 3 because day 3 quants sometimes are very lengthy. Like suppose cash flow, it will have 15-20 adjustments. You need to pick and choose sometimes which adjustments are important. Are they materially significant? Not. Do they affect the next calculation or not? Because say valuation, cash flow, any cost volume profit analysis, product analysis, all these type of quants will have a lot of adjustments, and they are designed purposefully to set the trap for you to fall into those quant traps. So you need to learn in this Capstone 2 series how to quickly set up the quant, how to quickly pick up the relevant adjustments like few, and then balance out the qualitative aspect as well. What I have seen is people like students waste so much time on completing a perfect quant that they forget they are out of time to write the qualitative analysis of that quant. Like what are the assumptions of that, say suppose it's a cash flow, or for product analysis, what are the pros and cons, which one to choose. So that qualitative side also has equal importance. So don't get carried away in the quant. So this is the best time to practice the quant and call balance. So in Capstone 2, focus on that skill to develop. Then there is a mock CFE that is included in the CFE in the Capstone 2 schedule. So in a Saturday Sunday you write one day 2 case, and the next day you write 3 day 3 cases. So I would suggest that solve those day 2 and day 3 in that time limit, in that timely manner, like in that CFE like situation, like 3 day 3 cases in 4 hours. It is exhausting on the brain, but get used to that exhaustion and that feeling, because when you solve just one day 3 case, it's 60 minutes, 70 minutes, at the most 90 minutes, 1.5 hour. So it's easily manageable. But when you are solving a day like 3 day 3 cases in a row back to back, it is very tiring on the brain. Sometimes you get confused between the case facts. Like by the time you reach to the third case, you're like, was the tax rate given here or was it here? So sometimes the business models are confusing, like you overlap the facts. So get used to that feeling to handle that time pressure and that exhaustion. So you need to get used to it. Another thing is, again, you will realize here, like if you go, say first case is 60 minutes, you go over 5 minutes, it's gonna hit your second case. If you go over there 10 minutes, you have already lost 15 minutes. 15 minutes. So when you reach to the case 3, you have already lost 15 minutes. So 15 minutes is almost like your case reading time for that third case, or 15 minutes means 3 AOs sometimes on a day 3 case case. So practice all that to get better. There is no other way to learn this skill. So do it as it is designed. That will help you in the CFE. Yeah, this is what I said, that get the feel of that exhaustion, frustration, confusion, all those things. And it's better to experience it in Capstone 2, because you don't want to experience directly in CFE, that's for sure. Now focus on all subjects for day 3, because once you start studying for day 2 and day 1, it sometimes we become more focused on financial reporting or management accounting, or if assurance is elective, on assurance like audit, you like write what you can say, like an audit planning memo on a day 3 like a day 2, and you waste so much time there. So don't fall into that trap. Please be clear that day 2, which day you are writing, the focus, the strategy, the time limit for AOs, everything is different. So remember, just take a minute before you start reading the case to adjust your approach in your head, and then attack the case accordingly. Mistake 5, very important, ignoring the feedback. Now I can't stress this enough. So the first point to stress is time management, and the second most important is the feedback. So whenever you are submitting your case, you will be getting a feedback or a marked response. They call it feedback guide response from CPA markers. So like, I'm ignoring the feedback in the sense, people don't ignore the feedback as such. Like they will go through it, like, okay, this here I got RC, here I got MC, okay, I got C here, okay, I'm happy, I got CDO, I'm more happy, and they move on to the next case. No, debrief effectively. Now what do I mean by debrief effectively is like, read each and every AO, check what is the feedback. So if you got RC there, then analyze why I got RC there. What was required to take that one step to reach to C? Okay, so I missed writing this about in this AO. That is why I did not go. Rewrite that AO if it's not clear to you. Check the suggested answers, check the sample solutions, compare your answers. Like, it's time consuming, I know. Like initially for a few cases, it might take, even for a day 3 case, you will take 2 hours just to debrief and understand the feedback and understand the mistakes and everything. But it is worth it. Don't move on without debriefing and understanding and analyzing where you are going wrong. Second important thing is track your progress. So I had made a sheet, like, okay, I wrote this day 3 case, I got the feedback, and then where am I standing? So audit, I got C, say strategy and governance, I got RC, tax, I got suppose NC, this finance, I got NA. So when you track it like that, when you check after a while, like after you have say 5-6 cases, you will see that, okay, audit, I'm consistently getting C, so I'm good at audit. Then I'm writing the audit AOs very well. Okay, tax, I'm consistently getting RCs, so that's not going to help me in the final. I need at least some Cs. So what am I missing? Go back to the answers, go back to the feedback guide, check that AO again, compare what is missing, what do you require to move from RC to C, and then next case when you write, keep that feedback in mind and attempt it like that. Okay, so you will realize whether maybe you are focusing too much on audit, maybe your technical is not strong for tax, maybe you have not understood how to write a finance AO. So this case writing and the feedback and this analysis will give you the corrective actions that you need to take for your for your the future tracking. Like I say, analyze those trends from your tracking sheet, then study the feedback guide carefully, because that's how it's going to be assessed for the CFE. Then read the feedback. Like in the feedback line, you will have to analyze yourself, like how to move from one feedback, like one score to another. So first, and you'll eliminate all NAs. It's must, all NAs. Like there should not be any NAs. If you are getting NA, then there might be some problem in the critical reading of your case. So analyze why you are missing AO, like you did not at all get it. Were you out of time, or you did not even locate that AO? So analyze the reasons. NCs, okay, you got the AO, you're writing the AO, but you're still not competent. So why you are not competent? So and try to analyze what is required to go to that RC level. If you are at RC, take the next step. C, take the next step. Okay, what sometimes C and CD is just one line of difference, that okay, if I suggest this, it's a CD. So sometimes it's very easy. Don't chase after the CD, but sometimes it's just one line that makes a difference between a C and CD. So keep that in mind. Then I have seen sometimes that it helps when you are studying with a partner, because sometimes I'm reading the AO, I'm reading the feedback, and I'm saying, okay, I have written everything. So what is wrong? Why they have not given me C? Why am I at RC? I don't understand. Because in your head, when you're writing, what you actually write on paper and what you're thinking, there is a huge difference. Okay, so we think 10 things in our head about an issue, and we write 4 lines, and the person that is assessing is reading only those 4 lines. He doesn't know your chain of thought. Okay, because you think a lot of things in your mind, and you conclude on while writing the AO. So so in your head you have the full thought, but you're not conveying that full thought to the marker. So it is sometimes very difficult to understand where you are missing. So show your answer, share your case writings with your partner, take their check their cases, so you will know how the other person is also reading, thinking, what they are you can learn something from each other. And then you can assess, okay, there's someone else when reads it, they say, okay, this is what you're missing, and then you understand, okay, yeah, right, you're right. So all these things, small things, but take it seriously. It will be a span of 2 months. Follow all these steps, give your best, and keep it has its ups and downs. Let me tell you that one case you get like 3 C's, like 2 RC's, you're happy, okay, I can do this. One case will come, it will hit you hard, and it will be like all NC's, NA, RC's, just one maybe C, and then it is demotivating. But don't get demotivated. It is for that. It's better to get that NA, NC, RC right now, rather than to have to face it in the CFE. Get that confidence boost back up, and keep doing it, and all the best. Please leave in comments if you have any other questions, and I will try to answer all your questions. Thank you. Bye.